And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another special episode of the Simply Awesome Podcast. This week, we have special guest, Miss Tiffany Snead Rose here for the second time.
Two times.
Two times.
Hey,
Of course, it's me. Hashtag Poppy, and we have my co-host Royal, and we are the Simply Awesome Podcast, and we're back at it again.
Hey.
How's everybody feeling this time?
Pretty good. I appreciate you all for accommodating my schedule.
Oh yes, you are very important and very busy. Let's see, you're booked and busy constantly.
Trying to be. Fake it till you make it, is what they say.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah, how you feeling, Roy?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. Cannot complain. How you feeling, co-host?
I am doing swell, to say the least. I'm doing swell, man. Newly 30. I'm going to keep on missing that until I'm out of this month. But, I'm just coping. But I'm happy, though. Different outlook on life. And, feeling...
30?
Dirty 30. Feeling,
Do tell. What's the different outlook?
Just knowing how fast life can really come and go. And and people just coming in and out of your life and different things that you dabbled in, just coming in contact with different energies and just knowing like how much you've grown and how much of a different outlook of life you just have, and different appreciation. I think appreciation is the biggest thing, especially in this life. I don't think a lot of people appreciate the things that they have in terms of not like physically, but like spiritually, and the people that's in their lives, and just having life and just living on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. Because this is only life that we know until we all are gone, and then we gotta figure out our next journey. But for this journey, just focus on trying to live the best life that you can.
Yeah. That's it. That's all.
That's it. Well, no further ado. I think we're just gonna get right into the interview, and we just want to talk to Miss Tiffany Snead Rose. This is our second time around, and we just want to know, man, how what's the update? How everything's been going for you this past year?
Yes, how's your journey been?
Pretty good. Journey to finding self has been amazing. I'm learning more and more about myself every single day. I'm able to call things out. Like, I call myself on my BS all the time. It's ridiculous. Like, and I have conversations out loud with myself, especially if I'm in the house alone. Mm-hmm. I try not to do it as often while folks are like around. But that has been pivotal for my growth and just understanding like who I am and where I'm going, especially at this big age of 30 as well. Just trying to figure out what that looks like for me. What else?
Let's see. From the previous episode, you talked about you wanted to build a community through your experiences. How's that going?
Terrible. Started off really, really well. Now I do engage. Revamp. It's not terrible. Okay. I'm just very inconsistent when it comes to like social media, period. I don't necessarily have the time. So one of the things that I had to do was actually plan out my content. But one of the things that suffered in the meantime was my online community. So it's like I did create something. It's still going. It's still happening. I post on there often. I ain't gonna say regularly, but often. I try to do an engagement once a month at least, or just have a monthly theme of some sort. So my Instagram page for it is doing well. Facebook, not so much. I did start a Facebook forum for it. just to, build that authentic sense of community versus like you just seeing something on Instagram and being able to engage that way. But actually having a forum where folks can come and they can talk and they can actually like connect with other people who are going through the same things, provide some insight, maybe meet up, post events from that or whatever. I done posted in there a few times and it's been it. But when I first started it, I wasn't expecting that many people to kind of like ride the wave with me for a little minute. But once I started the forum, there were, I think I have about 115 members in there.
Okay, that ain't too
I was
bad.
like, okay, not at all.
That's people. Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is cute, but no engagement has happened, and that's the only thing. So it's like it's very, very hard trying to get folks to kind of communicate or talk or whatever. But
would you be open to finding any assistance or reaching out to somebody to help you?
nah, not really. Like, and the only reason why I'm so adamant about that is because I don't know like my vision for everything as of yet. It's like
Okay.
I am a visionary, if that makes sense. But because I have my hand, I'm saying about a lot. However, I have my hand in a lot of pots. So it's like I'm doing a lot. I have 2 jobs. And it's like trying to do that and this isn't hard because it's something that I absolutely enjoy doing. So it's not like tasking or anything like that, but I'll often have like epiphanies. So it's like, okay, cool, this will be dope to do, or this would be dope to say. Let me get on and do this, or let me da 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 da. So nothing is like planned enough for me to ask somebody for help, if that makes sense. And that could be an excuse, definitely.
I understand that you have to outline for what you want to do, but not the actual set structure for it.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm a planned out, structured type of person. Like I can't just do things. And don't get me wrong, because some of my best stuff has been just things on the whim. However, when it comes to having someone come in to help, I know how I am when I'm serving others or helping somebody else. I would want you to know exactly what it is that you need me to do. I don't want to waste anybody's time with them coming in to try to help me and I don't have anything for you to do. It'll be like a waste of both our time at that point.
Sure.
So I'm like, kind of leery when it comes to having folks help me, but
that's true.
As of right now, I'm a one woman band. We making it happen.
Hey, you'll figure it out. Okay. And previous episode you talked about you wanted to do some mentorship and merchandise in finding your struggle. Any updates about that?
Not a thing. Dag, now I feel bad. No, I did. So it's so funny. I think I've received 2 mentees based off of just connecting on Instagram. So there are a few folks with my full-time job. I do a lot of work around like helping to support programs. A lot of those programs help support older youth. So they might be high school or up to age 24, right? So there's like this one program that does amazing work in Baltimore City. Shout out to Heart Smiles. They do some of the amazing work that I've ever seen when it comes to engaging young folks around entrepreneurship. There we go. I couldn't get it
last
out.
one yet.
So I follow a lot of their heartbeats of what they call, and they follow my content as well. So I've been able to kind of like reach out to a few of those folks for just one-on-ones, some mentorship there. There are a few people who have hit me up out of the blue and was like, hey, do you mind being my mentor? So it's like, it's not to the capacity that I want it to be, no, but it's still happening authentically. And ultimately, that's the one thing that I want to, that's the one thing that I push anyway. That's what the brand is. It's just authentically that. So yes, but no, with the merchandise, nothing for sale. I thought that I would at least be in the mind frame of releasing a planner. Mm-hmm. I love planners. And I absolutely love the fact that you just have this thing, this tool that's in front of you, this strategy that tells you everything that you need, and you're able to like customize it and do all this fun stuff, make it cute, make it pop to make you want to look at it. But the thought of actually sitting and doing my own is nerve-wracking. Again, it has a lot to do with time. It is. You are laughing. I'm so serious.
No,
It
I'm
has a
saying
lot to do with time.
it's a time thing. I understand it. It's a big endeavor to do.
It is time consuming. Like you really have to be on top. But the one thing I can say, the pandemic has produced, like they started at the height of the pandemic, I guess like around like April, May-ish, a lot of people were doing like these free seminars. So I sat through one. I sat through a seminar and they taught us how to, just how to, if you want to get into the planner business, this is how you do it, yada, yada, yada. So I have all my notes from that. It's just, again, a matter of just sitting to make the time because it is a process. In order to create that merchandise, it takes at least 6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least, and that's the minimum because you have to order and purchase and design and meet with folks and do all this other stuff. Get it packed.
Yeah, it somewhat becomes your first career. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Once you get into that.
So barring the wait time, well, with the wait time, it could be what, a year and a half into it before you actually release it to the market?
Pretty much. So my plan is I've talked to my mentor and we do these mind dumping sessions where you have all of these things. I have all of these things to where like all of these ideas to where I see finding the beauty in your struggle going. I do understand like I have to take a real look at where I am in life and the time that I have. Right. So again, I don't know if it was Royal or Elaine who said it, but like just literally looking at time. Sometimes you don't have the time. I really I don't have a lot of time. Like I don't have a lot of time. So trying to schedule, structure time around getting things done has been one of my hardest tasks to do. But again, because it's something that I want, I know that I have to make time to do it. But going back to that mind dumping session, good God, I can't blame it on the braces no more. But going back to the mind dump session, it's like you literally have to take a real look at where you are in life. And yes, you may have all of these ideas. So you write down all of your ideas, you write it all out. And again, I'm a visionary. I have businesses on top of businesses as far as ideas, right? Businesses on top of businesses that I feel in my mind, I can get everything done. I want a clothing line. I want to grow Finding the Beauty in Your Struggle. I want affordable housing for single folks who work in human services. Like I want all of these things. Is it something that I feel like I can get done in my timeline of life? Yes. Do I have the time right now to get all of these things done? No. So when it comes to merchandising for Finding the Beauty in Your Struggle, my focus right now is just to grow the brand specifically. And then like once I get a following or once I get folks who are like, yes, I really want to support you in other ways. Like once I get consistent with the brand, short and sweet, then I'll be able to kind of put some money, some time and effort into growing the business on a different side or like, just growing or trying to get some monetary value from it. For the time being though, I have already started working with like a print company for getting like t-shirts and maybe some mugs when it's time for me to talk and sip tea or whatever, just to stay consistent with branding because that's one of my biggest things, especially when I'm helping other people grow their brands. Like consistency is key when it comes to, like what are your colors? What is your logo? What's your font? Like everything.
Yeah.
Logo, like I'm like, listen. So once I'm there, all of that to wrap it up, to sum it up. Once I'm consistent enough, then yes. Like, but those conversations are happening. Everything's happening authentically. It's not to the level of which I want it to be, but it's happening.
Well, that's usually the formula. The format is to get your following up and get supporters and sponsorships and to fund that some of the different content and creative things that you want to do. And saying that makes sense.
Guess
that makes sense.
That's where we're partnering with somebody will come in handy because it's like, all right, cool. This is my vision. This is what I want. help me make it happen.
Especially if they have intel to doing other things that you might not even know about, and they
Yeah,
might have actually more time on their hands to be more hands on, and you just delegate responsibilities.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
it makes sense. That makes sense. See one question. Okay, and what's next as far as like how do you expect to or how do you plan on marketing your content and your brand to the world
So I've had a conversation with a local
to make it
producer.
grow?
I've had a conversation with a local producer in Baltimore who really wants me to do a freaking podcast. And I have been battling. I've been like, this man is persistent. I've been battling the thought of it though, because it's like, damn, if number one, I am freaking out as far as like, I don't know, and you guys can probably attest to this, but like if you make a video or something, you post a picture and you get more likes or more comments, more engagement than you were like bargaining for. It's like, oh, okay, this is cute. Maybe I can be an influencer. Like, like whatever. But at the same time, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't like notifications. So especially around my birthday time, if a lot of people are telling me happy birthday at once, I have to like shut down my phone because it's too much. And I'm just like, I got
I'm the
50
opposite.
comments. I
I'm the
can't
opposite.
look at, I'm like, I can't look at all this.
I'm the opposite, especially if you get, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, nah, especially because you don't know who might, outreach to you. You know what I'm saying? It might be people that you haven't talked to in a minute, or people that you don't even know.
Yeah,
And
and I
you know what
go
I'm
back.
saying?
Don't get me wrong. I go back. I will go. I'm not gonna leave you on red or whatever. But I get so overwhelmed. Okay, Paul. I get so overwhelmed with the thought of like I have to answer this. I have to do whatever. And I was like, I think I definitely like growing the business is something that I want to do. Yes. My plans to do so is just to be consistent right now. Like that's the only thing. So again, I've written down all of the content that I want to produce for this year. But again, it's just taking the time to actually record it. It's taking the time to actually getting it done. It's taking the time to do X, Y, and Z. So for me, it's just it's more than just writing it down because oftentimes, more times than not, I'll get into this mood, not even a mood, but like I'll get into this mode where it's like, all right, I did something that I didn't do before, so that should be good enough. And a lot of us do.
I understand it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us do. And it's like, no, if you really want to go for a goal or you really want to grow something, then you have to get out of yourself. Like you got to get out of this exterior. You got to get out of, oh, I'm tired or whatever. Like even when it comes to me in the gym, right? A lot of people, you'd be like, oh, I'm tired. Like at this time, I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up at 7 to go or 7 in the morning to go. All right, it's 7 o'clock at night now. You gonna go? Well, I really need to
I'll
de-stress
go
from
tomorrow.
today.
I'll go tomorrow.
Like then tomorrow comes, same thing happen. Like
No,
so
I go
like,
Friday. Next week for sure.
I would start April 1st. April 1st is on and popping. Like, okay, sis, let's hope. But honestly, it's like if you really want something to grow, you really want to do something different, you really want to change, then it ultimately starts with you. So that's the one thing I've been telling myself. It's like with
we're
being
always a
consistent.
prisoner to habits. We're always a prisoner to habits, whether it's good or bad. And it's just finding that balance of trying to tip the scale towards good habits. Yeah. Essentially, because that's how you can get the most production and squeeze as much use out of yourself as possible. And procrastination is also our biggest downfall, I would say.
It's terrible. I've always been a procrastinator.
Procrastination and priorities is things that we all try to strive for, especially myself.
What's been working for me though, when it comes to procrastination, is understanding my motivations or my motives. So I'm not a person that's motivated by money. Like I will never take a job just because it pays more. Like, and don't get me wrong, like
Yeah.
I ain't stupid. I'm not stupid. Where it's like, oh no, pay me less. No, I'm good. Like I don't want to. I know my worth, but
Mhm.
it's like I have friends who are just like, no, well, I'd rather be stressed out working a six-figure job versus doing what I love. And I'm like, no, I would rather get paid. My motivation is freedom. I would rather get paid doing things that I love or things that are in alignment to something that I do want to do in the future, or something that is going to provide insight for what I have to do in the
100%.
future.
100%.
So just think about my motives when I find myself procrastinating. I'm like, Tiffany, you really got to get this done, sis. Like thinking about your motive or your motivation helps bring me back. Even though I'm procrastinated through and through, I love waiting for the last minute to get something done, especially if I don't want to do it in the first place. It's like this ain't about to get done right now.
You ever try to envision like the end goal?
Yes, yes, yes. Had a conversation with my best friend about this last week. I'm not going to say that it just doesn't work for me because I am a visionary all over again. I think about the future often. Like when I say often, like if not all day, like I'm honestly on go, like thinking about what's next, what's happening. I say in a consistent space of gratitude and appreciation. But yeah, no, that still doesn't. That is no match for procrastination. Like if I don't want to do it, I'm just not gonna do it. It. I just I lack the will to do things. It ain't even procrastination for me. It's like if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. And the procrastination comes in where I'm like, all right, well, let me put something else over top of this. Like, oh, well, let me go clean my shower, and I got this report due. Sis, what? Like, but that's me. That is me. Like, what's going on with you? But again, just going back to what motivates you, I really have to just be a little more intentional when it comes to getting things done, whether it be writing it out in my planner and actually going back to look at it because I can write all day. Planning my weeks out, using my calendar more. I put everything on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it honestly does not exist. What else? Yeah, setting deadlines, reminders, for getting things done. Again, writing everything out that I want to get accomplished, whether it be that week, creating checklists for myself, because looking at things being checked off is like really gratifying to me. And keeping everything in one central place. I have several notebooks just floating around my house. And when it's time for me to like start a meeting or something, I'll be like, damn, which notebook did I write this in? So making sure that everything has its place has been helpful for me as well. Again, I still be procrastinating, so I don't want anybody listening that's like, oh, well, that worked for her. No, like if I don't want to do it, I'm telling you, it's not going to get done until the very last minute. I'm trying to get over it, however, but this is just me being real and honest. You got to find what works for you. Yeah, you got to talk. You got to find. I'm sorry, what works for you.
100%. I've seen.
And give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. We don't do enough of that. Yes, we don't.
Yeah, give
do
yourself
enough
grace.
of that.
Yes.
For not
Grace
getting
is
things
key.
done.
Grace
For
is
not
key.
getting things done. Well, we often, especially millennials, we feel like we got to get it all done at once. And it's like, you don't, let me be the first at this good age of 30. You ain't got to have a degree right now. You ain't got to have a baby right now. You ain't got to have a wife right now. You ain't got to have this big house on the hill. You ain't got to have that dream car. It is not that serious. Like, just because you are at this big age or you're moving into this big age does not mean that you have to have everything right now. Just because society says that it's normal to have.
It's about compartmentalizing and understanding the ebbs and flows of life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people are going to be all the way up, and then next year or two they'll be all the way down. And no matter what position you're at, it's always like what we call it the game with the chair.
Musical chairs.
Musical, yeah. Musical chairs, correct.
Okay, Tim, do you have want to expand on something from last episode we had? You spoke about your self-love journey and your romantic journeys last episode we talked to you. Has there any updates with you on your journey and reconnecting with anyone in your life, maybe it be a romantic partner, friends, family, or any you found that is new for you?
Oh, yeah. You still celibate?
No,
No.
but yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes or no?
both. A little
Both.
bit of both.
A little bit of
A
both.
little bit of both. Listen, honestly, simply put, fuck these niggas. I'm tired. Like I'm tired. I'm sorry, Roy.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
No, but
Get
seriously,
it off
like
your chest.
I am, and I'm always there. I did the whole situationship thing for about a year. Last year actually.
Okay.
And was talking to this guy. We vibed really, really well. It was easy. I would say that. Like it was very easy. I haven't had any easy relationships at all. Like all my relationships have been extremely complicated for whatever freaking reason. And this one was easy, even though it wasn't like an official relationship.
Mhm.
We connected on a different level, and then it kind of went to shit when I found out that he was dealing with somebody else, and he decided to make it public on New Year's Eve. So I found out via Instagram story, and I was like, okay,
Oh,
like
damn, on New Year's Eve?
Or,
on New Year's Eve. I
that-
was
Oh,
like,
man.
whoa. All right. Yeah. So trying to navigate that, I didn't think that it would hurt me as much as it did, but it did. And now I'm in a space where it's just like, I'm not dating. I told myself that last year that I wasn't going to date anyway. And then here comes this mother lover.
Well, was
And
that dating technically? Was that dating?
technically, I want to say yes. For the lack of relationship, it still was a relationship because of the things that happened, like the things that transpired.
Okay.
Whether it be just intimate moments, we connected on different levels. Yeah. Anyway,
Do you think the title defines the relationship?
no, but yes, I play devil's advocate. I'm very indecisive.
I say yes for me personally because if we don't have a title, it is what's going to be. Like I believe everything should be discussed, and no matter what the relationship is, whether a situationship or an actual official relationship, everything should be discussed, and the outline should be there. You should have a boundary of what it is, because people get confused if it's not defined. People will say, "Oh, it's a situation." Well, I thought it was an actual relationship. I thought it was going together. I'm like, I never said that. You never said that. You assumed that. And a lot of people make assumptions in these situations, whereas like we never actually talked about what this was. We said we was going with the flow, and it went with the flow. You felt one way, I felt one way, and it just didn't coalesce.
See,
Well, Roy, let me
it wasn't even that though. Like I can see, from my situation anyway, from my standpoint, it wasn't that anyone was ever confused or anything about, because that does happen. If you don't, I pride myself on being open and honest. Like, hey, this is what it is. This is what it ain't. I don't necessarily think that titles define relationship though. Like I think because there are several people that I talk to that are married who are unhappy. Like, and it's like, all right, we got a marriage. Yes, it kind of, puts it in its own tier or own bucket or whatever. But I think like ultimately it boils down to the connection, the time that you're having, your level of intimacy with this person, your level of understanding, communication, and all of those things play a role in what the relationship is.
That's true.
That's true.
But now, as far as titles, it's a whole nother story. Titles makes your partner feel like, and then there are certain implementations when it comes to titles as well. It's like, that you're not supposed to do certain things. You can't flirt with other people.
Yeah.
You can't see other people. You can't date. You can't.
It's the unwritten rules.
Fuck around. Yeah, it's a lot of unwritten rules. But again, that goes back into what Royal was saying. Like, let's have a conversation. Even though you do have this title, or even though we do have this relationship, then there still should be conversations. I feel like I say it all the time. Whenever I do get married, I want us to have like annual conversations. We need to have quarterly conversations.
No, I was about to say quarterly.
Marriage is a business. Definitely quarterly, like, or bi-monthly check-ins. Like, hey, you know, like, what's good? Are you okay? Are you not even like it? Because even that sounds like, oh, it's so businessy, but like to have real conversations about where we are and what, because ultimately people evolve. Like, you could be in love with the person that I am right now, but the next 5 years, I could evolve into something else. Like, I'm moving on to another version of myself because the version right now shouldn't suit me because people evolve, and that's just the real. And if you don't like me in 5 years, I need to know that you don't like me in 5 years. Tell me. But it shouldn't take 5 years for you to see, like, oh, I don't like this person.
And do you think organic conversations like those need to happen?
Yes, it should have in my damn situation, but
I believe,
you know,
we triggered her. Yeah.
Yes, I'm triggered. No, I'm triggered by everything. I'm triggered by everything. But as of right now, no, I'm not dating. Like, I'm trying not to, because I honestly need to get over everything, not just him specifically, but just everything when it came to dating period, when it comes to loving myself and holding myself to a certain esteem. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna back away. But again, I make very genuine connections all the time. I meet people off the street. I meet people at parties. Meet people on podcasts. Like, I'm always making genuine connections with folks. So it kind of, again, it goes back into that conversation we were having with Roy, where it's like I have conversations with people because folks will be like, oh, well, you know, I like you. I think you're dope. And I'm like, you know, I do like your company. I like talking to you, but this is where I am. And you let me know if it's like too confusing. And that throws people off sometimes. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, but more often than not, a lot of people would say that they're okay with that. Again, I think that goes back into my situation as well. Like, being okay with situationships. It's like, you'll say you're okay with something just because you like to keep that person around. Like, oh, I like your aura. I like your energy.
It's just the way in. It's the way in.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And you think, but you think, often, more times than not, people think that you're gonna change. Like, I can change you, or, you know, spending time with me is going to change your heart about being with me, or whatever. So people get into these situationships or relationships thinking that they're gonna grow, or it's gonna grow or evolve into something, and it don't. And you be sitting there mad.
Well, sometimes it does, but I mean, I think it's all
that's a rare. That's like real life. That's a rare occurrence. That's not like in most situations. People, a lot of people are delusional about that. They feel, oh, I can fix them, I can change them, I can change the situation, I can change their outlook. And I feel I don't have time to change you. You're a grown ass adult. If your mind is made up in that situation, and I'm asking you this multiple times, you said no, my position has not changed in this situation. Why would I want to change you and get the outcome I want, with not the outcome you want to have?
I mean, it does sound delusional, but at the end of the day, people always do evolve and change. So we're not a monolith.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying more likely your attempt will fail, because we've seen time that people go into it with this mindset. The attempts will fail. I'm not saying it can't happen, but most likely it will not happen.
Well, people learn their lessons and then they find somebody.
No. You can't say that, because we don't people that don't learn their lessons.
Some people
think about the career criminals. They ain't learned their lesson yet. Keep going back and back and back and back.
Some people do. But that has a lot to do. There's a lot to do with what your perception of love is, or companionship is, and what your wants are. Yeah, like it definitely has a lot to do with that. We could talk about that all day when it comes to that perception. But yeah, some people just don't accept the truth. Like, you know,
delusion.
You just lying to yourself. You lying to yourself, and this won't be that. And I'm like, I don't ever want to see myself in those situations at all. But sometimes they happen, and I just gotta move the fuck on.
I'm thankful that I've never been a person that will try to change someone. That's just not in me.
Don't listen to Roy. He has 14 baby mothers.
I have 0 baby mothers. That's an ongoing joke in the podcast. I have 0 baby mothers in real life. We're talking about.
I don't
understand that mindset of want to change someone or change their opinion on the relationship once they told you what it was. That's a futile effort to me. Again, I'm not saying the else can't go out and try it, but it's a futile effort to me. I'm not gonna bump my head to the wall 4, 5, 6 times trying to get you to go coming on my way when there's no way for you to do that.
Not at all. Not at all. And I was so thrown for a loop, guys, because we would have conversations all the time about like future and marriage and all this other stuff. And it's like he would always say, like, well, this is not something that I foresee. And granted, I understand that that particular person was coming from a really fucked up situation that left him kind of jaded and heartbroken as well. So I understood his view on like relationships and marriage and everything else. But I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, like I'm not looking for that right now either. So this works. But then to see that you've decided to just hop into a relationship after we were talking last week, like, you didn't even say nothing. I'm like, you could have had the conversation. You could have been like, hey, you know, like
that is kind of wild. Like I don't see us progressing, but I've seen somebody else and might see something.
And
if you see something, don't be worried.
You got to play with. That's
no.
Exactly.
It's not cool to see people like that. I don't feel that's right. If we won't be honest, I don't feel it's cool to see people say it like that. No.
And that's what I got to bounce back from, because toxic tips will start pouring out real quick.
Yeah, that's a mess up situation, but you shouldn't let that affect how you see. Again, we can all do a reset. We can all do a reset at certain times.
I'm like, I'm not. I still believe that love is out there. I believe that the person that is for me is for me. That I don't have to question. It ain't gonna come with no confusion, whatever. But I do understand that I have to, for this time right now, I have to do everything that it is that I want to do for me. I have to love up on me. I got to be comfortable with myself before I can, you know, hop into something else. Because what happens is, like, I will hop into another relationship just to get over another. And it's like, you really don't heal. Like, you don't take the time to really be by yourself. Like, so that's this year. So I've got a few trips planned. This is out. Nice. I've told myself that I wanted to at least go on a self date every 2 months. Yeah, I took myself up for Valentine's Day, buy myself some flowers.
Nice.
I've seen your Instagram and everything. You've been all over the world.
It's not like, all over the world.
It's like you're on tour. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Just a little bit. That's the theme for my birthday this year.
See?
Nice.
She's been on tour. It's been wild. This is a press run.
I have a quick question for everybody. Have you ever thought you met someone that was for you and it wasn't the right time for them or you at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Exactly.
How did you deal with that? Either them not being the right time for them or it not being the right time for you.
How did I deal with that? Can I say I ghosted? Not really ghosted, but like I really tried to ease off the situation.
Not toxic,
man, but
what happened?
Look, at the end of the day, like,
not you ghosting people.
It wasn't a ghost, but it's like I fell back because at the end of the day, like, if somebody has like negative energy, as far as like you have conversation with them, and it's like a whole bunch of tragedy doesn't happen in their life, and they keep on spilling their guts out to you day in, day out, you kind of feel like there's nothing I can say to make you feel, you know, uplifted at some point, and you just keep on feeding me negative energy, and I just keep on listening. That makes me feel like I need to just disconnect from you totally, unless you get your mind right. So I just, fall, all the way back, because I just, for me, I'm not the type of person to harbor a whole bunch of negative energy, especially when I have different things that I have to get done, and just, as far as myself, you know what I'm saying? Just being positive, having positive energy for myself. If that makes sense, Roy, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
definitely makes sense. I am I'm telling you, I'm going through it right now. I'm trying to process. Shit, I'm trying to fucking process. But no, again, I think that I live in a constant state of appreciation and gratitude. So even though I'm feeling hurt, let down, disappointed, especially because the relationship that we did have warranted a conversation that didn't necessarily happen. So it's like trying to get over all of these things and finding closure in the small things, but also being appreciative that I was able to feel a connection that was easy, right? So it's like, all right, and not shutting myself off to love, or not shutting myself off to relationship, because I can be very cold-hearted at times. So being cautious and cognizant of what is actually happening in my life, and just again being appreciative that I was able to experience some level of easiness and intimacy, that that came easy, some sort of connection that I have never felt ever. So it was like, damn, this is great. And I know that you don't want a relationship right now, but I think that neither one of our community, both of us, we have terrible fucking communication. Like it's really bad. So there were some things that I did that kind of pissed him off, and he would like say things. I really have a comprehension issue sometimes, and sometimes I do shit because I'm toxic, and yeah.
Well, at least you can admit that.
Yes. So yeah, I don't think that it was the right time.
Okay.
Do you think that sometimes people's sexual chemistry can conflate their ideas and thought patterns?
I think so, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
But it was more like, when I say it was more than, for me anyway, it was definitely more than just sexual chemistry. Like, yes, that's top tier, because if it's bad sex, then what the fuck are we about to do with ourselves? Like, if it's not, and don't get me wrong, bad sex is not like, the motion in the ocean or anything like that. It's all about the connectivity. If you're lacking connectivity, then what the fuck are we doing? We ain't doing nothing. We're not doing nothing. But no, that definitely played a big part. Or it plays a big part. But no, it's more so about the way that you connect with one another, how you're getting things done. Are you goal oriented? Do you have any plans for the future? How do you mesh with your family? Like things like that I love to see in men. That kind of get my mind thinking about, okay, well, maybe this could work down the line. But again, I'm not built for a relationship yet. I'm not. So I know that even if in a stellar world, and he was just like, Tiffany, I want it to be you and not this other person, I don't know if I would be able to be my best self in a relationship, or give you parts of my best parts of me in a relationship, because I need some time. Like I honestly need time. So I'm grateful for the experience, grateful for being able to kind of like visualize what that will look like in the near future, even if it's not with this particular person. Or again, being grateful for the experience, but also grateful for this period, because it's like, all right, I got a taste of what it could be. But how do I mold myself? Not even mold myself, because I am fucking awesome. But how do I get myself to a point where it's like you can actually coexist with somebody in a healthy relationship, and not have to play all of these games, and not have to do this back and forth thing? Like, how can you communicate with somebody to say, okay, this is what I desire out of this, and not be intimidated by, the fact that you might be let down, or it might not happen because you spoke your mind or whatever. Like, just being okay with opening my mouth to actually get what I want, and compromise with the other party. So it has a lot to do with growth right now. But I don't forgot the damn question. Hopefully I answered
it. You answered it well. I'm really happy to see that you can recognize your growth and what you lack and what you need to improve on within yourself and the relationship. So a lot of people could not comprehend that. They would like in the situation you said, like in the perfect world, most people would be like, hey, it's fucked up right now, but we're gonna go on ahead, we're gonna go on with it. It's like a lot of people will do that, which is very sad and very wrong of them because they aren't right in that situation. But they'll do it because, all right, this is the person I'm with, we're good right now, I don't want to lose this, let's go on ahead and fuck whatever's going on else. Which is sad, but that's a lot of people's situations.
And it goes back into that fear thing. It goes back into that fear thing, whether or not you're gonna get it or whether or not it's gonna come back around. So it's like, I haven't seen, and I think not for a lot of us, but for most people our age, we haven't seen a lot of successful relationships. Like, or, you know, front row seat anyway. I was raised by a single parent. So it's like, I don't know what a successful relationship looks like. Now, granted, my mom, she didn't have a lot of guys around. So it's not like I've seen guys walking out of her life or whatever. But my family as a whole, like the women in my family, I've seen a lot of domestic abuse. And I was like, that's one thing that I know, like, I don't want for my life. But there are a lot of people just, I don't understand, and I will never understand that switch. Something burning or somebody smoking. I don't understand that switch in a lot of people's lives where they're just like, okay, this is what I've seen my entire life, so I'm gonna accept it in mine. For me, it's like if I'm a person, if I'm now a dad and I know that my dad wasn't in my life and I know what that felt like for not having a father in your life. Me as a father now, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that I am in my child's life. And I will never understand, like, well, I didn't have a father growing up, so I'm not gonna be a dad. And it's like, that don't make fucking sense. Oh, I've watched my mom get abused and black eyes and all this other shit, and you just gonna go and be okay with somebody that puts his hands on you?
That's crazy to me, but some people say that's the only way I know love. I saw my mother constantly going back to this person that abused them, and she was in love with him, so that must be what love is.
But it goes back to, and trust me, I get that. I get all of that. I've seen it, and I do understand. There have been times in my life where it's just like, all right, I've noticed the signs, but again, it goes back into, okay, I'm afraid that I won't get this again, or you start to believe your environment. But there's another side to it. If in your heart of hearts, you know that this isn't right, like you feel like this isn't right, regardless of how hard or difficult the task may be to actually get up and do or actually get up and leave, you know that it's not right. So why would you subject yourself to something that you just know is never going to change? Like, you know that it's not going to be good for you in the end, or it's not going to be good for the other party. We do it out of selfishness. Ultimately, a lot of us do it out of selfishness. A lot of people do things because they're scared. It has a lot. Some people, depending on the situation, you know, it's life or death sometimes. Yeah, so yeah, I do understand. I understand that. I ain't taking that away from nobody. Please don't cancel me. Okay, I'm not taking that away from anybody. Because I've been in those situations as well, where I've seen those situations play out in front of me as well, where it's life or death situations, and it's like I can't leave because there are dire consequences to me leaving. But prior to any of that happening, there's always like a buildup of some sort. So it's like, you know that this is how this is going to end, but you choose to stay there anyway. And it's because we don't listen. We don't listen to ourselves. A lot of people just don't listen to themselves. And I was like, I don't want to be, for me, like, I just don't want to be in a situation where I'm not listening to myself. And I realized that is how I am in relationships, where I just don't listen to myself because I am so stuck on the fact that, oh, this person really likes me. Oh, this person really fucks with me enough to want to be with me. And I stay and I compromise who I am time and time again, just to be, or just to say that I'm in a relationship. So for me, like, it was just like, nah, I don't want to do that again. I'm tired of doing the same old fucking song and dance. Like, I really just want to be okay. I want to find my equal. I want to find my equally yoked. I want to find my match. I want to find my partner, my teammate. And in order to do that, I gotta listen to myself.
Do you think that the relationship would work better if you guys were friends first?
Yes. Yes. And not necessarily that you have to be friends with somebody. I know for me, like, again, based off trauma, I can't, I don't necessarily do blind dates, or like, I got to know you from somewhere in order to like talk to you or whatever. And I guess that kind of hangs me up as well, because I be talking to people and they be friends with somebody else I'm talking to. Like, it be weird, but it be weird. Honestly, it don't happen. It doesn't happen in a way where it's like, oh, I'm petty, but it can sometimes. But yeah, I can't do like the whole blind date thing. Like, I have to, like, we have to have some type of relationship going into it, because I just need to be able to track it.
I agree with that.
This could be tricky right here, because there are a lot of people out here that I'll say people out here that won't date people if they're their friend. Well, they start as a friendship. They'll say, no, we're friends, and either I will mess it up, or I have you over here as a friend. We gotta go past that. So how do you figure out what the move is if you're friends with someone and you want to go past that stage to the dating stage, but you haven't, no one's made it clear what it is?
Well,
if they're your friends, they're gonna be your friend.
Well,
at the end of the day.
Hey, people, and it's fine. People say, hey, we friends, and somebody say, we might be the fuck it. I don't know. People have different stages of friendship.
The thing is, number one, you just have to understand, you got to read the room. And that's one of the biggest things to me. Like, if you feel, there are friends that I have that are just like, I would really love to be your man. And I'm like, no, like, you won't, you will not get out of the friend zone. And but again,
got him in the box again,
being clear, not even that, but being clear, again, reading the room. If there are, like, you're making advances, right, and your advances are not being noticed, they're not warranted, I'm not like, oh yes, come lay in my bed, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not giving you any sign.
Not giving the signs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving you any sign of like, this is gonna be more than what it is. Then no, like, you shouldn't expect to move out of the friend zone. But if we're both like, we're talking to each other every day, we're meeting up, we're doing this, we're going on vacations and stuff, like, we're claiming that we're friends. Certain things, like, you just know certain things. It goes back again. People be in denial. No, I will not.
I'm about to say, I'm on vacation. We ain't friends. We fucking. That point.
For me specifically, I won't go on an all expense vacation paid with a guy, because I know that the expectation is to have sex afterwards. And I know that, we might have some girls in the comments that want to tussle. I'm sorry, but that is usually the expectation that a man has from a man's perspective. If I'm coming out of pocket for this, I expect some pussy at the end. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Like, I know that's not my MO. Especially if I'm not sexually attracted to you, or we haven't been doing that. Now, it's one thing if that's my man, or that's one thing if that's my somebody that we're already doing that. But if you just random with it, like, no, I'm good. I would rather keep my black ass in the house. I'm serious, but that's just me. There's some people who get it how they live, and you get it how you live, sis, or bro, or whatever. Like, if you get flued out, enjoy yourself. Like, I'm sorry.
Some of these people are delusional, but if most of the time, if someone's flying you out or y'all go to vacation, you should know that they expect to fuck. Ain't nobody take you on vacation for free. I don't give a damn if this is a Disney World. Nobody gonna say, "Hey, you my friend, let's go on vacation real quick." No, I expect to fuck at that point most of the time.
Oh, I know.
That's facts.
And again, some people are like, "Oh, I don't do that." Like, well, take your ass home or pay for it yourself. Because that's not the way the world works. I'm sorry. I don't see people that, of course, there are situations where people are generous, like, all right, we're going out. If it's not that vibe, it's not that vibe, whatever. But most times, that's what it's going to be.
But again, it goes back.
I think that conversation is always just already established, already known.
Right.
You would think so. You would think so. Not for some of these Twitter timelines.
You got to read the room. No, but I think when it comes to Twitter, people just be talking. Like, people really have those perspectives. They definitely have those perspectives. But when you put them in a real situation, it's just like, all right, this ain't Twitter. Now you got to fucking react. Like, it's either fight or flight.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just lack common sense. That it is what it is. Well, let me be here. let's set the record straight for all the folks that's listening, thinking that because this man or this woman paid all expenses paid, that they not expecting to get nothing out of it. Like, no, that is never the case.
You're not obligated to give them anything. We're saying you're not obligated to give them anything.
Not at all.
But they will expect something at that point. Remind you, we are adults. We're not children. You expect something. And if you're an adult, you expect for that to be the outcome. But again, some people are sheltered. They might not know it. But again, you're not obligated to give them anything, but they will expect something.
Let's just make sure you have your way back home. That's
Please make sure.
That's what I was about to say. That's my only word. That's my only word of advice. If you gonna go and you like, listen, fuck it, they not gonna get shit out of me. Cool. Make sure you got some money for a room and your flight back, because what you don't want to do is get down there and get stranded because you decided that you wanted to be all liberal and righteous and not read the room and get down here.
You're like, oh, they just let me go. They come in that night. You come in there like, hey, we'll have your room. Like, no, I'm tired. We'll sleep. They come in next day like, hey, what we doing? We hang out all day. You're like, hey, we're going back to it. Like, no, I don't think we're going to do that. Like, you're like, I'll flew out here on my dime and we're not doing what? Okay, cool. Your flight canceled, your room canceled. Find your way back.
Granted, it's really fucked up that people think that way. Like
that's very fucked up. That's very fucked up. And petty. That's very fucked up. But it can't happen. It can't happen.
Again, going with the read the room. Read the room. You know this man want to fuck you. Why would you go on a vacation with him if you have no what's the word I'm looking for? You have no thought, no desire to be intimate with this person, to be physically intimate with this person. So it's like, well, why the fuck? A free trip don't take all that. If you don't get to Jamaica today, you ain't got to use somebody to do that. And people put themselves in fucked up ass situations by doing it. So I honestly, I would say keep your ass home. If you can't afford it right now, save up. Southwest has a wonderful deal where you can pay your trip off as you go along. It's called Uplift. Make sure whoever books it has good credit. Like there are other ways to get what you want versus putting yourself in a fucked up situation because of whatever. They got pay as you go now for flights. Like there are other ways to get these things done, people. You ain't got to rely on Mr. Joe and them to get you somewhere.
And again, no one said Mr. Joe was right when you said that's a consequence of your act if you're not thinking ahead. If you're not thinking ahead.
Gotta be proactive.
You're not reactive.
Yes. Oh, this is good.
That's not funny.
It is funny. I'm sorry.
That is not funny.
You're stranded somewhere. You like, hey, I'm stranded. I can't get back.
I would be pissed. Now it's one thing to have a conversation to be like, hey, especially if scenario, like if you really wanted to go on this trip, like if somebody was like me personally, I want to go to Paris. It's something that I'm planning to do for my 35th birthday. I got five more years, 4 technically, because I'll be 31 this year. But it's something that I want to do. And if somebody was like at the end of the year, like, hey, I got these tickets, all expense paid, whatever, I'm just like, shit. It is something I want to fucking do. It's something that if I ain't got to pay for it, I can go with somebody else. I expect myself to have a conversation with this person and be like, hey, Paris is definitely a romantic city. I know that is, well, number one, I wouldn't. But for scenario's sake, I would have a conversation with the person first to be like, I know that this is a romantic city. We haven't been intimate at all. Are you expecting anything out of this before I decide? Usually because men think that they're gentlemen, or some women, because some women are out here paying for stuff to ladies.
Ooh,
and gents.
Where they at?
No, they are.
They are out there. They're not.
They out there.
They're
out there.
They out there. So
they're out there
it's
in small amounts, but they are out there.
They flying us out.
Have a conversation. Now, No, I haven't. I have not flued anybody out.
That
Now, what I
out, but hey, I'm open to the office.
I definitely would. I definitely would. I would trick on my boo. That's the term? You got to trick on a man. I trick on him just a little bit. But again, he gotta be my man. He can't be like some rando or like some guy that I'm just dealing with. He has to be my man. But yeah, it's worth having a conversation. Don't just assume like, oh well, I'm gonna go on this trip and I ain't gonna do nothing because that's not what I want to do. No, it's like have a conversation to be like, listen, is this what's happening? Even I would go so far as create a contract, something real simple. Like I need guaranteed that this is blah blah blah. Like this is what this is. And if it ain't that, if somebody thinks you're doing too much or whatever, then you don't need to go. If somebody says that, you know, they want this is what they want, this is what they expect, and if somebody is real enough to have that conversation with you and you decide whether or not that's something that you want to do that. There are some people who are comfortable with that. Be comfortable and do what you do. Be safe while you're doing it. And there are some people who aren't. But for those who aren't, you need to have those conversations, especially if you're considering going.
To me, at the end of the day, just go with people who you know, or go by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Better safe than sorry. Too many crazy people out here.
And that's why I only date familiar people. I can't be out here on these dating apps looking crazy.
You ain't messing with the Tinder swindle out there?
Oh man, that's the king, man. That was him. Man.
No, you will not. If you see my profile pictures on any dating app, it's lying. Somebody is using my pictures.
They kept
using your likeness.
Yes, they are using my pictures. I can't. I need to know where your mama stay and everybody else. If Ray don't know who you are or whoever, then yeah, I need to know something. You don't have to be in my immediate friends or close friend group or something, but if Aleem knows you, then okay, cool. You know, like, but ain't nobody got time to be meeting John and Dick and them. Like, it's too much.
I think it was probably more dangerous when the start of social media happened, where this is a new shiny thing, and where you can just meet people from all over the world, and like, oh wow, you can just send a message, and then this person will be over your house or be at this place, that place, and meet up people like that. But now, technology is more advanced, where you can actually vet people and figure out like who's who and what's real, what's going on like that.
I'm sorry, you should have been vetting people from the beginning. I seen everyone.
I mean, times were different,
no one
times were different.
I remember when the end I was going. I remember being on BBS boards. I know what it was.
Oh yeah, you old. Yeah.
Bro, this is. I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is before camera phones, before video cameras were ubiquitous out there, before everybody had a computer in their damn house. We're talking early 90s.
Well, everybody used to just meet up at everybody's house.
Yeah, but the thing is, you knew these people. We're talking about the early stages of the internet. You didn't know anybody. These was random people anywhere. And you had to assume that everybody you were speaking to was a grown-ass adult. Now, if you were in a chat room or something, you couldn't assume everybody was a child. You had to assume everyone was a grown-ass man. Say that until they proved who they were. Because you were like, oh, I'm chatting with Tiffany, and she say she 3 miles up the street or whatever, and it's really a dude that's 45 in his damn basement, all the way across the country.
But that's back in the days where you can cheat and never get caught. You can have a whole family like right down the street, right around the corner. I mean,
true. That's true.
You see Keisha in the morning, and see Tiana at night.
Well, some people still try to do that to this day, but technology just not put a cold stop to that right now.
Man.
Allegedly, because some people still get away with it right now. I was saying allegedly, because some people still get away with it.
I'm like, it's still happening.
Some people got a family in this county and another family 2 counties over.
That's just a disrespect. Yeah, that's crazy. You can't. That's just mad disrespectful. Nah, you just can't have them in the same city.
Again, people is wild.
People are wild, man. Tiffany, how's your I see you got into modeling.
No.
No, that's not what's going on.
No. I didn't consider myself. It's another one of those things about self-esteem, my self-esteem journey. I didn't consider myself very photogenic. It was like I take great selfies, but when it comes to like getting my picture taken or anything, I'm very awkward in front of a camera. So yes, I know that it requires time, effort, money to get these photos and everything else. But it's something that, I was just like, I don't want to compromise. Again, it goes back to compromising of self. So it was one of those things where I was just like, yeah, no, we got to figure this thing out. So yeah, I invest in photo shoots.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice little hobby to have, just building self-confidence and portfolio up.
Yeah. So then when it's time for, like, I have a lot of friends. Okay, we get it. When it's time for my friends to do like projects or whatever, they ask, and I'm just like, I can help, but I'm not. I'm very awkward and very shy in front of the camera. So, now it's just like, okay, I really want to, one of my goals was to really be supportive of my friends in their endeavors. So if they ever need me to take pictures or whatever, then I'm available. I'm confident enough to do so.
Yeah. You don't seem shy. You seem like you're a very good muse, I would say.
Oh no, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's real bad.
But you got to take a couple of shots before you get into the photo shoot. No.
No, don't give me no shots before a photo shoot because then my eyes gonna be looking crazy. It's gonna be too much. Yeah, no. But I'm more of a duck lips, peace sign type of girl. So trying to get out of that because I do have a nice smile. So it's like trying to get out of that and like taking myself a little more seriously. But so far, I've done a personality shoot, and that was fun. I went to the Dollar Tree, got some props and everything. It came out super super cute. And then I've done the Valentine's Day shoot. Those are the only two shoots I've done so far for year 2022. I have a few more coming up. Okay. Maybe two by the end of this year.
Nice.